Hello, all you soul inspired beings out there. It's Gina with Soul Inspired Reflections, and welcome back to day 12 of 55 Days of Christ Consciousness. And I hope you're enjoying this introduction. It's really it's an introduction to the qualities and energies of Christ consciousness based on the Christ Consciousness Self-Mastery deck created by Amanda Ellis and illustrated by Jane Delaford Taylor. Again, this is just to introduce you to these energies that exist within you, and when we pull a card, how that might ignite something within you. Also, we may pull other cards to assist you along the way to that may support you in connecting to these energies. And again, for those of you newly tuning in, if the word Christ does not resonate with you, that's quite all right. I just want to invite you to use a different word because it's really about the qualities and energies that are within you while you're on your path of light and returning to your divine essence, leading life from your heart and expanding in consciousness and bringing your higher consciousness into embodiment, into the physical world, meaning that's how you're beginning to live differently, more from the heart. You're beginning to have some self-mastery with your emotions and energy and energetics of the body, and how that relates to your way of being, how that relates as information for you, because we are light. You are light, your frequency, your vibration. That's how our bodies are designed. And many of us are becoming more and more aware of like, oh, wow, I'm not my emotions, but it tells me information. Oh, wow, my cells hold memory and I cry and release those memories. Or maybe I breathe and release it out through the air or the breath and recognize, yes, I had those experiences. And yes, they may have been challenging and some may have been really joyful. But they're also experiences that do not define you as a whole being, right? So I invite you to let go of any over-identification of anything you've experienced in life as you recognize that you are a soul, that you are a spiritually sovereign being, because we are all of spirit, we are all of energy, we're all of light, and we're all part of the oneness. We're all part of this that come from the same energy, having different experiences that are unique to you. And how might you resolve those discordant energies and return them to the highest quality of wisdom and light within you as you continue your journey, as some may say, of life, in this life, recognizing you as a soul do not end. You as energy, you do not end. You do not end. And we have the faith card that has popped out for us tonight as I shuffled. And yeah, and so go ahead and invite you to breathe in and anchor before we connect further to this card of faith, right, that we are connecting to today and tonight. Let's breathe in together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you feel compelled to do 3 ohms with me, let's do that together and really anchor that energy we're connected to, the life that we're connected to, the breath and prana that we're connected to, and creation and the power of creation that is within you. And just reminding some of you that may be new, I do have a dog, and occasionally he likes to start barking and when I'm recording, so I may pause from time to time to just correct him if he's going a little too much. Okay, so 3 ohms together. Om. Om. Planting your feet firmly on the ground and anchoring in as you're opening up your crown. And just go ahead and find a natural cadence with your breath. As we connect I am presence to I am presence, heart to heart, and just receive what information is meant for you and your highest good today as it relates to the faith card in the Christ consciousness deck. And what does faith also mean to you? What does faith mean to you? And it also says on the card, find holiness within. Yes, as I've said before, all of this is within you. The ability to be, you are already whole. You are already whole. The ability to be love, the ability to be peace, the ability to transmute and transfigure and walk your path of light and what that means to you and is already within you. You have the power to become sovereign. You have the power to guide yourself. You have the power to call forth the mentors in your life to support you as you step further into whatever next stage of your life that you're in, right? But remembering, coming back to your heart, your soul, your inner being, and bringing in your higher consciousness, that deeper aspect of knowing that it's all within you takes faith. It takes faith and it takes trust in something that you are divinely connected to. And that is very palpable and oftentimes unseen, but you know it's there because you just feel it in your bones. You feel it in your heart. It reminds me of when the closest thing I could think of is like when mothers know something's wrong with their children. There's that innate knowing, like they can't put their finger on it, but they'll keep pushing like, no, 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 something isn't right here. And they may push and push until they discover what they need to about their kid, or their kid finally shares something that maybe they were afraid to share. So how might you cultivate your own faith through trust and knowing that you have that power to heal yourself? You have the power to change the world. You have the power to change your life. In life comes opportunities for you to take action with and choose to have faith in yourself and your own abilities and to strengthen those abilities. But let's go ahead and read what the deck has to say, what the book has to say about this card, because I believe it will also reference a story with Jesus when someone touched his robe and the energy was felt through him when she touched the robe. I'm not well versed on all those fables, so let's see what the book has to say. And if those of you are well versed on that, please share any comments that you may have in interpreting what that means for you, right? And I invite you, if you do make comments, please keep them positive and from the self on your own experience and not in a place of judging others, and recognizing we're talking about the energy and what this means within you through perhaps stories and that help us guide along the way to return to ourselves, to return to your heart center and what this experience may mean for you. Okay. So let's turn to the book on this, and then we'll perhaps check in. We'll check in if we need any additional beings of light to assist you in your faith. And I don't mean your religious faith. I mean your deeper faith in knowing, like have faith to move forward, have faith to be present with yourself. And the card number is 28. For those of you that like to look at numerology, I'm not feeling called to look up the number today, but it does reduce down to a 10 and then a 1 when you add the numbers together. And faith, find holiness within. Find holiness within. So this card is inspired by the story of a woman who had been suffering from hemorrhages for 12 years. Seeing Christ in a crowd, she reached out and touched his gown and immediately knew that the source of her illness had ceased, since she knew that even if I touched his clothes, I shall be cured. And that was in quotes. At first glance, this story makes you think it was Jesus himself who healed her. But turning to the crowd and asking who had touched him, he said to her, "It was your faith alone that cured you." That's a real powerful statement. It was your faith alone that cured you. And I'm going to just pause in the reading of this for a moment because it reminds me of, I forget where this came from, and it might even be from the Bible. I don't know. If some of you know out there, please add it. But go to the medicine that heals you, that you have faith in, right? So when you're feeling ill or out of sorts, go to the medicine that you have faith in healing. So in this example, this woman had faith that touching his robe would heal her and his energy would heal her, but it was really her faith that healed her, right? So it reminds me of when people take placebos, right? They're given placebos in a science experiment, but they have faith that it's going to support their wellness, and it does. So placebo is like a sugar tablet, and it does. That's how powerful you are. When you step into your full power with faith and trust that the energy within you, the energy that you are connected to, that we're all connected to, it wants to heal you. It wants to come through you and return you to that state of holiness that already exists within you. So let's continue to the book. It is an important distinction, and one that is needed to be heard by many who believe that someone, something, or only a higher power can heal them. In this teaching, it is clear that the power lies within you and your ability to have faith, and that this alone is enough. Your faith is enough. So often we look outward for help, guidance, and the answers, yet you are reminded that you have the power and tools you need. The question needing to be asked is, can I touch holiness within myself? To do so is to be able to access all that you seek in your ability to find balance and to know that all is well. Illness and challenge can also teach and instruct us and others. The soul grows through what it experiences on earth. It is why it came. It's why your soul came here. In the highlighted story, the afflicted woman had sought many remedies and counsel from others, and yet these years were not without worth, since we often find out how strong we are via surviving adversity, pain, and difficulty. That is not to say it is what God wants for us, but to be human is to have agreed to walk this path, which can have thorns as well as the scent of the rose. Into every life a little rain must fall is a well-known saying, but it is also a true one. Healing can also occur via encouragement and support to keep going. We are often carried, even when we do not recognize it, feelings as though our prayers have been ignored, but it is often then when God is in fact closest. We all seek the miracle and healing cure, and this can be possible if it is what the body, mind, and soul truly desire. But all aspects have to be in agreement for this to happen. So often we listen only to what one part of us wants. But if we instead see ourselves as multidimensional beings, we tune into different needs and requirements for soul growth. Today, take a deep breath and think about how you can access holiness within. Certainly giving yourself quiet space and room to just be is helpful. Prayer, writing, or any activity that quiets the egoic mind is good. Finding holiness in everyday events encourages us to see each interaction as an opportunity to touch God, because everything is part of his creation and holds the frequency of love. Love is the greatest healer, and we must not lose faith with it or become so blindsided by negativity or displeasure that we fail to see it available in every moment. To turn a grimace into a smile, a clenched fist into an embrace, and a battle cry into a lullaby. When we can answer life with love, we see it return to us tenfold. The lady reaching for Christ's gown knew he was complete love. It was that vibration and the trust in it that saved her. Reach for the love within yourself, too. Shower yourself with its healing balm and visit the inner sanctuary and library of your heart that knows all the answers you seek. Love and faith move mountains, so move some today. Move some today. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful channeling in this book and reminding you and me and all of us in our own divine time when we come to this knowing of ourselves as souls and your multifaceted nature and your essence and being in alignment with all that is through love. Because part of this, we have been talking about this love expansion, whether it's been through the 55 days of Christ consciousness or through other postings I've done on Instagram and YouTube. You're expanding your ability to love and know what love is and essence. And with that comes faith. With that comes trust. With that comes the ability to recognize and embrace all of your experiences, because you are a soul here experiencing life. You're experiencing physicality, the ability to be multisensory, not just through smell, not just through your primary five senses of smell, touch, taste, sight. As that moth flew by. Excuse me, I have an itch in my eye. Right? So how might you continue to support yourself to trust what you are experiencing and what you're seeing, not just through your eyes, your physical eyes, not just through your third eye, your higher perception, your all-seeing eye, but all of it together, your humanness and your divine essence. How might you embrace this walk through the different lens, and you get to choose and experience and hold all of it together and recognize like, oh, wow, I do have the power to heal myself. And which way that looks, the outcome of that looks different for everybody, right? But everything as it's referenced here in the book, and I've even in shamanism and practices that I've studied in my own, for my own self-care and expansion, and I support others with, is remembering and inviting them and you here again to recognize everything in your life as an opportunity to be mentored. These experiences you go through is a teacher. It's a valuable teacher for you on a soul level. And how might you hold yourself from the highest place, from your integration of your I am presence through faith, right? Especially when you're in the midst of adversity. That's when faith is the most important time to reach out for faith and not lose it. And not lose it within yourself, because it's there. These, I feel, are part of the things that keep us living, is to have faith and to step forward and continue to breathe another day, continue to live another day and experience life another day. Because without faith, what might you not be experiencing, or what will you be experiencing potentially? Right? And I know that answer for myself, but maybe you have to ask yourself that with what is your life without faith and trust? right? Perhaps this can be a more empowering moment to step into faith, into this threshold of the unknown, because we don't know what tomorrow's bringing. If going through the past 3 years haven't taught you the experience of, gosh, I don't know what tomorrow's bringing. One day we're all told to stay indoors. The next day we're like, okay, you can go outside. Constant changes that are also imposed on you. How might you return inward, go inward and trust and have faith, call in your higher self, and then nothing can ever be imposed on you. Truly. Because when you're in your heart center and connected with the divine within you and the whole of life, you're always at peace and there's no fear to be had. And you can always heal and take these other opportunities that are come your way as like, oh, it's an opportunity for me to do this. Like, for instance, on a smaller scale for my own life, last week I had some clients cancel that were for a week detox. And I just took it as oh yeah, I have an opportunity to do other things that I like to do and put time into. But I also had an opportunity to rest my body. And I had faith that, okay, that the illusion of loss of income would be fulfilled in another direction from a different source. And it did, it came in. And what was very nice, I only had to see one client, that a private client that really made the difference and filled in the gap from the clinic I volunteer, not volunteer at, but the clinic that I also provide services to and contract with. So this is just a simple thing of having faith that, okay, something else will come in and I get to rest my body and continue that alignment with the universe and not try to force anything and just honor what's in front of me. Right? And so how might I also do that if I'm going through an illness or some adverse time, which Lord knows I've gone through some. And I know you out there are also going through some, either the intensity of it now or in the past, or perhaps in the future that you don't know yet. Or maybe everything will just be perfectly fine and you're good to go no matter what. But it's when you have faith that you can get through the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs of your growth with more ease. And then it just happens, right? I kind of think about, as we're talking here, children, when they're learning to walk. When they're learning to walk and pull themselves up, they're not thinking like adults. They're just like, oh, I want to climb up. I want to pull myself up, and they do it and then they fall. And then they do it again, and then they fall. Because they have faith and trust that one day they're going to pull themselves up and they're not going to fall. And then they begin to walk with, holding the sides of things, and they walk and build that strength, build that endurance, that muscle. So how might you build your faith and sustain it so it's there within you every day, every moment, through every experience? Then you just embody faith until you just walk it, just like that infant that pulls themselves up and then becomes the toddler walking and then running to play, experience life, to become independent, to become sovereign, right? Because that growth is an act of independence, an act of freedom as well. So how might you free yourself while healing yourself through faith? Because that is an ability of freedom as well. And I'm sure on a large scale, we can all think of world events where people had to have a lot of faith for the turmoil they were going through, that one day it would end so they can continue to live their life, right? But even within the construct of the way they had to live, there was still a lot of faith within that. And I'm talking about things like when people are put into camps for for other reasons, like internment camps and things like that. We've seen that time and time again, or some type of slavery. We've seen that over and over across the world. And how do you keep your faith and spirits high? And trust. And heal and be free. And that's keeping your heart open, connecting to song, connecting to music, connecting to the beauty in life, and trusting that the holiness is within you and every human being. So let's see which deck wants any guidance for some of you out there to support you with your faith. And I'm just going to check with the pendulum and ask Archangel Metatron to assist in guiding that energy. And just as that's coming, I'm hearing like my ear is fluttering. Okay, Metatron, just which deck would like to support? Is Ascension cards? Secret language of color. Okay, flower of life. Mudras. Star seeds. Light activation. No, angels. Keepers of light. Okay, I have the Archangel deck by Diana Cooper, and also the Secret Language of Color. So there'll be a color for you to connect with that perhaps may support you in connecting to your faith and what that means to you. And it's this faith within you, right? It's not outside of yourself, because you are part of the light. You are the light. You're connected to source. So it's this faith that resides within you. You have the power, because we're talking about you're spiritually sovereign, you're sovereign being. And so we're going to just ask Metatron to assist in just one card, one color from this deck. And here's one shows out. Silver, be persistent. Silver, be persistent. That's what popped out. And on the bottom was the peach, inhale the breath of life. Yeah, this one was popping out to you, the confidence card. Cayenne, confidence. Okay. And we'll see what angels would like to support us during this time as well. And of course, like anything, if it's not resonating with you, that's okay. Just take what you need, take what resonates. If you don't resonate with color, that's fine. If you don't resonate with the angels, that's fine. Just know these realms and energetic qualities reside within you, and you can call on what you're comfortable with to support you. Okay. So Metatron, let's pick one angel deck, one from the angel deck. What angels would like to support us in faith, support you in building your faith, building your faith, building the quality of faith. Have one card. One card, please. There we go. Archangel Chamuel. Archangel Chamuel. Open your heart to give and receive love. Your essence is love. Again, beautiful, beautiful. Your essence is love. And on the bottom, we have Archangel Lavender. Prepare for soul healing. Forgive and release everyone. Forgive and release everyone. And that's really powerful to maintain your faith. Hi, Gus. We'll go after the reading, Gus. He wants to go for his evening walk. And I don't blame him. Silver, be persistent. Be persistent. peach, inhale the breath of life. Breath of life. And cayenne, build your confidence. And look how pretty those colors are together. It's interesting because I would put blue and silver together. And I would put the cayenne and the peach together a little bit. That's interesting, but go to whatever color you feel guided to the most. And we'll go ahead and go to the book a little bit, because I know silver can be really reflective. Silver is also very conductive. It conduces like electricity, right? Like silver. Come here. And how might you build that persistency within yourself, that conductivity, that to connect you to your faith? What are things that you can do to connect you to your faith within yourself, to build confidence, right? To build confidence, the cayenne, build confidence. What do you need to do to build confidence within yourself? And it could be with anything. What if you're learning what if you're a kid and you're learning how to play baseball and you have a kid that's learning how might you be able to support them and instill confidence, right? And for me, I always like to, when I played sports or was supporting someone playing, always wanted to end on a good note, meaning with them hitting the ball or with them catching the ball or kicking the ball if it was soccer. Always end on a good note, because it reinforces that, yes, you can do it, right? Yes, you can do it. And you just have to persevere and keep practicing, right? So some of that for you, are you practicing your daily spiritual practices, right? To connect with spirit. This isn't about religion, but if in your religion, perhaps you have practices that support you to connect with your faith, then maybe it's time to return to some of those. Maybe it's time to create your own if you are someone that does not have necessarily aren't particularly religious, right? Because we're talking about your energetics and your divine connection. That's 100% across the board with every living thing. Every human being has a divine connection, whether you call it that or not. We could debate that left and right, and there's no need to, because you are connected. There's no need to. You're all connected, and you may have your own word for that, and that's quite all right, because any group of people does, right? We have a different language for the same thing. Okay, so what can you put into practice that's going to help you build your confidence and faith and trust? Because I feel trust goes hand in hand, right? And so silver, that's going to, and be persistent, right? Not to a point where you need to feel overwhelmed or anything, but how can I describe to be persistent? Like on this path of light, this path of awakening, right? We can go through these steps. We'll go through these steps and lessons, if you want to call them lessons or experiences. And sometimes it can just be really off-putting. And you're just like, oh, God, I just don't want to do that anymore. But you can be persistent to, if you have a pattern that's a little bit deeper than others, have faith that one day, through your determination and persistence, that you're going to get that clarity moment, and you finally are going to heal that pattern and create a new pattern to take its place. You'll harmonize it, alchemize it into a higher functioning way for yourself, right? Because some things take a little more time than others. So your faith building, confidence in your faith and trust in yourself might take a little bit of time, and that's okay. Keep breathing in. Keep breathing in that breath of life. Take a moment to pause and just breathe, and breathe it in, and go inward. Go inward through the breath and connect in the stillness of your holiness that is within you. I'm going to pause this for just a second, and then you could maybe practice breathing while I'll just take a moment and return. I got to let my dog outside. Hold on. All right. Thank you for your patience again as I paused. And we landed on the breath, right? Take that moment to connect. It's through the breath that you connect to the stillness of your own heart. It's through the breath that you connect to the what people can call the void, where you can actually go deeper within yourself and let God in through the breath, through your heart. And sometimes emotions may come to the surface, and that's quite all right, because you're connecting, you're building that conduit, you're being persistent in your effort with your spiritual practice, even if that is just breathing, right? It reminds me of yoga. There's so much power just in the breath alone, right? It all has purpose, the poses and stuff, but you can breathe and connect to the divinity within you without doing the poses per se. What if you physically couldn't do the poses, but you could do the breathing, right? You also have the imagination of your mind. And you can, within that, you can still build the confidence. The more you're in your breath, you can build the confidence of your connection, right? Because I keep thinking of silver like wires, connection, connectivity, the persistence that of the energy that wants to come in through you, right? So when you're feeling a bit of anxiety and just like, oh, maybe outside of yourself, as some might say, or overwhelmed, come back to your center, come back to your breath, because it's the energy that's being persistent to come in through your body. The energy that you're divinely connected to, your silver, your crystalline cord, your silver cord that connects you, your silver cord that connects you to source, that connects you to source. Recognize that it's there, and it always has been since the time you were inception. So do the things to support you to build confidence in that. So if it means getting a mentor from time to time, or if it means taking a class where you're being part of a community that's has a like-minded, a similar purpose, or something that's going to match you and foster your being, and recognize that, remember that you're going there for yourself, but you also want to be in a container that is feels safe to you and comfortable, and not get pulled too far into other people's experiences, but be an observer of the container or the community, right? But to go inward in your own experience becomes so important, because I find so many times, even in a community circle, sometimes we allow our humanness to get the best of us, and we get too personally involved with other people's journey versus learning, because those that hold these spaces, they've learned to just hold the sacred space in a neutral place for others while they're teaching or guiding those through the process, so they can foster their skill. They can foster their skill and be persistent in the connection to the light that wants to come through them, and strengthening their connection. And it builds confidence in your own abilities, your own ability to heal yourself, your own ability. Okay, your own ability to heal yourself. Okay. And then we have Archangel Lavender and Shamiel that also are joining you to guide you in faith through love, right? To hold everything and all your experiences through love, opening your heart to give and receive love, because it's multi-directional. You must learn to give love to yourself in order to give love to others. You must learn to receive love from others as well, so you can continue to give love to yourself and to others. Because if you're just giving, where you might be, you'll deplete yourself, right? Because with love also comes boundary with your care. because you must also take self-care of your own being and soul and wellness. So allow others to show you the way they love and receive. Like for me, it's time. I spend time with people. That's how I show my love. I listen. I might send a message or something through text if I haven't sent some talk to a friend for a while. I have some friends where we send little posts back and forth of little things, right? And I'm sure all of you may have one person in your life where you kind of just send silly stuff and it doesn't even matter, but it's because you care. It's like, I'm thinking about you. I have one friend that I haven't heard back from her in a long time, but that's okay. I still send her little notes and messages that, hey, you're in my thoughts today. Because I love her and I know she loves me. And I also know that she in her own life has been going through a lot. Right? But I'm not doing it with some expectation that I have to have a response back, because I know and I have faith and trust in our friendship and our love for each other. And I know the next time I see her, we kind of pick up right where we left off, or in the present moment, really, as if no time had passed. Because when you're just in the moment of love all the time, no time passes. When you're in the moment and presence of now, when your presence, there is no such thing as time. Time does not exist. It's a construct. Okay. So allow you to step further into the essence of love that you are. This allows your higher qualities to come in with more ease. In fact, it's a necessary process for those that are going through these initiated phase. Because you are an initiate to light when your heart begins to open and you begin to surrender to the light that's within you and to the divine will of all that is. It's a very different way of living and recognizing life is such multifaceted through that. And then the chaos of the world no longer affects you in the same way because you're staying in your pillar of light. Right? So as we also with love, we have Archangel Lavender. Look at all that beautiful lavender color, right? Because it brings healing. Prepare for soul healing, forgive and release everyone. And look at everybody's free in this. When you learn to heal yourself, you're also, that was interesting with the camera. We're also healing. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the camera had this little delay. Anyway, we're also healing others because we're no longer holding the past experiences against them or in ourselves. We're releasing it and healing it. And in that, in your self-healing, you release others through that as well, because energetically you're all connected and you set yourself free. You set them free. And I've gone through this experience over and over again. It's like you can feel the breath exhale and go, ah, I'm free from that now. Right? It's for some people, it's almost going through this intense experience, right? And you're just like, okay, breathe, 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 right? Like sometimes when I work on a client, we hit certain place in the physical body where they're like, oh, that hurts. And then it's like, okay, breathe. And I ease up, breathe deep and exhale. And their body softens. And then the release comes. And then they're like, oh my God, that feels so much better. I had to go through the little bit of discomfort to have the release, and it feels so much better. Sometimes healing is the same way. You're going through the discomfort of the experiences and the hurt and the pain, but you're choosing to no longer suffer in it, and you set yourself free through the healing and the transmutation and alchemy, and you set others free into the light as well. And you connect to the holiness within you because of the faith that you hold, that you are free that you are love, and you have the power to heal yourself and others in the world by doing your own healing through faith, through love, through giving and receiving, through releasing and forgiving. Anything else with this? Anything else? There's something else, and I'm just going to wait for a moment to hear the guidance. Okay. And look at the colors of his robe and her robe. They're multifaceted colors, and they actually blend together because the robe is one and the same. The robe is one and the same. You have the magic inside you. You have the energy and skills and ability inside you. And we'll leave it there. I'm Gina Lobito, Soul Inspired Reflections. Have a really, really blessed day and a beautiful week. Until we'll see you again on day 13, which will probably be up in a couple days. All right. Have a much love to you, and have a really great, great week.